Today's story comes to us from AL.com. An Alabama State House member has been removed as captain with the Mobile County Sheriff's Department due to his political views.
Alabama Representative Shane Stringer has been fired from his job as a captain with the Mobile County Sheriff's Office.
A spokeswoman for Sheriff Sam Cochran, a Republican, announced in an email to the media on Friday. Lori Miles, the spokeswoman, said, quote, Sheriff Sam Cochran made the decisions Wednesday, May 12th, because of different political views held by his administration. Stringer joined Cochran's staff in 2018, the same year he was elected to the Alabama House of Representatives. Miles later told AL.com that Stringer's sponsorship of legislation supportive of constitutional carry ran afoul of the sheriff's views on the issues.
Sheriff Sam Cochran says he made the decision due to Stringer's support in the legislature of looser concealed carry gun laws, something Cochran opposes.
Stringer has also backed legislation forbidding state and local enforcement agencies from enforcing new federal gun laws or executive orders, which has been a concern among law enforcement personnel as well. Alabama lawmakers could, during the final day of legislative session, vote on a bill that creates a constitutional carry provision in Alabama in which residents would be allowed to carry a concealed pistol without having to obtain a permit or pay a fee for one. The legislation has long been opposed by law enforcement, including the state's sheriffs, who argue that permits are a safety tool for them whenever they are making traffic stops, serving a warrant, or conducting an arrest.
Sheriff's offices currently oversee the concealed carry permitting process. Stringer is in his first term in the legislature representing Northwest Mobile County.
Stringer, in a news release, said he is proud to stand in defense of the Second Amendment gun rights of Alabamians, despite being fired by Mobile Sheriff Sam Cochran for his position on the issue. Representative Shane Stringer was quoted as saying, the Second Amendment gun rights of Alabamians are under attack from a liberal federal government that is out of control, and even from some factions right here at home. After dedicating my life and career to law enforcement, losing a job because I stand in support of Alabama gun owners is certainly surprising, but nothing will discourage me from defending the constitutional guarantees promised to all of us as American citizens. Representative Stringer said he felt that local sheriffs are opposing constitutional carry legislation because they depend upon the fees the gun permitting process generates for their offices. He went on to say the U.S. Constitution does not say you have a right to keep and bear arms as long as you pay what amounts to a gun tax in the form of permit fees. It says you have the right to keep and carry firearms. Period. Miles said Stringer was appointed as captain and that he will no longer hold any position with the Sheriff's Department by the end of the month. Miles was quoted as saying, I think they agreed to disagree, but when you work for a company, you have to abide by the company's philosophies and rules, especially when you are a part of a staff where everyone answers to the sheriff. We have to be of one accord. Representative Stringer is a former Satsuma police chief, and Miles added he would be a great hire for someone. He's been in law enforcement, but at the end of this month, he will end his career being on staff with us. So I want to know what you guys think about this and how you feel about the sheriff who fired a captain from his sheriff's department because of views on the Second Amendment or this legislation that's coming up. Now, spokeswoman Miles brought up a very good point that when you work for a company, you have to abide by its policies and rules. And I tried to find the Mobile County MOU. The best I got was some street construction contract that was online. But I couldn't find the MOU for Mobile County. And I know county MOUs do have something in there about political views, and that if you take a position or office, not political views, just personal political views, but a lot of county MOUs specify that if you are in a office or position like representative or president of the KKK or what have you, if you're in a position or office of where your political views conflict with the county, then you can be terminated from your job. So basically saying, as a captain with the sheriff's department, he became a state representative, which is an office, and then if his political views mesh with that of the sheriff's department, then it's a conflict of interest. Now, his personal views, I don't think would get him fired. I think that's definitely going to be a lawsuit under the Federal Employer Act. But as far as his political views as a state representative, I think that could be a conflict of interest with the sheriff's department and therefore a reason for termination. What do you guys think? I want to hear from you lawyers out there who know a lot more about this than I obviously do. But I do know that certain government agencies do not allow you to run for or to sit in a certain political office if it conflicts with the policies or with the stance of the government entity that you're working for. I do know that. So this is a very interesting one, and is the union going to back this guy up and get him his job back? Now, I didn't say anything in the story about the union. Maybe the union is like, we don't want nothing to do with him because of his stance on the Second Amendment. Or this legislation, I should say, which really kind of circles around the Second Amendment, because as he said, look, it says the right to keep and bear arms, not the right to keep and bear arms as long as you pay the tax. It doesn't say that in the Second Amendment. So I don't know. What do you all think? Let me know out there in the comment section below. Community Leo Watch, watching Leos, that's law enforcement officers, to include those that run for political office and then oppose their own boss. And from coast to coast.